Hello everybody. Today we'll be talking about the flaws in 5 different anti-vaccination arguments. The year is 2019. Modern medicine is at its most advanced yet, and somehow many of the vaccine-preventable diseases are making a big comeback, such as the measles, the mumps, pertussis, or also known as whooping cough, rubella, or also known as German measles, and diphtheria. Cases of these diseases are beginning to rise across the world. For example, on April 15, 2019, the World Health Organization stated many countries are in the midst of sizable measles outbreaks, with all regions of the world experiencing sustained rises in cases. The anti-vaccine trend is the cause of these increases. According to the World Health Organization in 2019, vaccine hesitancy is now a top threat to global health. Today I will share 5 of the arguments anti-vaxxers make and present credible scientific reasons why they are wrong. We will begin with our first anti-vaccination argument. Anti-vaxxers believe vaccines cause autism. Anti-vaxxers believe vaccines cause autism. Many anti-vaxxers still think vaccines and autism are related due to a study by Andrew Wakefield in 1998. The study claims to have found a correlation between the MMR vaccine and autism. The study has since been retracted, discredited, and ultimately, Wakefield and his 12 colleagues were found guilty of ethical violations, scientific misinterpretation, and deliberate fraud. According to the British Medical Journal on March 15, 2011, it was discovered that Wakefield was paid by a lawyer to find a link between the MMR vaccine and autism. The CDC on October 27, 2015 reiterates that there is no link between vaccinations and autism, and vaccine ingredients do not cause autism. Now that we have covered that there are no risks of autism due to vaccines, let's move on to our next argument. Anti-vaxxers believe proper nutrition and sanitation are to credit for the drop in diseases before vaccines. Proper nutrition and sanitation have played a role in helping prevent diseases, but they should not receive the full credit. The World Health Organization responds to the anti-vaxxers' beliefs on this topic by saying, for example, there have been periodic peaks and valleys throughout the years, but the real permanent drop in measles incidence coincide with the licensure and wide use of measles vaccine beginning in 1963. They also state, other vaccine-preventable diseases show a roughly similar pattern in incidence, with all except hepatitis B showing a significant drop in cases, corresponding with the advent of vaccine use. Since we have gone over the facts that vaccines are still needed, in addition to proper nutrition and sanitation, let's keep going. Anti-vaxxers believe vaccines cause toxic substances such as aluminum and mercury. The following information about vaccine ingredients was retrieved from the Barcelona Institute of Global Health, written on October 28, 2015. Vaccines contain things called adjuvants. Adjuvants are used to increase the immune system's response while decreasing the actual amounts of inactive bacteria or virus in the vaccine. The adjuvants generally used are aluminum salts, thimerosal, and formaldehyde. Aluminum salts are not the most effective adjuvants. They have been used as such for more than 80 years in thousands of millions of doses precisely because of their safety. In a normal day, we breathe, eat, or drink 30 to 50 milligrams of aluminum, more than 20 times the maximum allowed in a dose in a vaccine, which is 0.85 milligrams. Thimerosal is a preservative. It inhibits the growth of bacteria and fungi that can become lethal. When it is metabolized, it is turned into the less toxic and easier to eliminate version of mercury called ethyl mercury. Anti-vaxxers mistake it with methyl mercury, which is the type of mercury found in fish or shellfish. By 2001, all vaccines except for some of the flu vaccines have stopped the use of thimerosal, the flu vaccine only containing very trace amounts. People are exposed to more mercury in a can of tuna, which is 180 grams, than in a flu shot. The flu shot only contains 25 micrograms of thimerosal at the maximum. Formaldehyde. Formaldehyde is only found in the finished vaccines in residual amounts. It is used in the manufacturing process. There is more formaldehyde in an apple than in the hepatitis B, DTaP, and polio vaccines together. We have concluded that the chemicals used in vaccines are in no way toxic or harmful, so we will now move on to the next argument. Anti-vaxxers believe that most people who get diseases are the ones who are vaccinated. According to the World Health Organization, this is an easy misconception for anti-vaxxers to have because in an outbreak such as the measles, more vaccinated people will end up with the disease than non-vaccinated. There is a common misunderstanding that this means vaccines do not work, but the two following factors prove otherwise. Firstly, vaccines, like anything, are not 100% effective. They range more around the 85 to 95% for effectiveness without boosters, depending on the individual. Now, for the second factor, take the United States, for example. Far more people have received vaccinations than have not. To explain further and more in depth, we think about this example from the World Health Organization website. 1,000 students were exposed to the measles. 995 are vaccinated and 5 are not. Since vaccine effectiveness after 2 doses is nearly 99%, about 7 of our 995 vaccinated students will not respond to the shot and will still catch the measles. Of course, the 5 students who are unvaccinated will become affected as well. This means 7 out of 12, making it 58% of infected students, are fully vaccinated. This shows that vaccinations work to protect the other 988 students. To further explain, 100% of the children who had not been vaccinated got the measles, compared to less than 1% of those who had been vaccinated. If there were 1,000 unvaccinated students, then there would have been 1,000 cases of measles. We now understand that vaccines are not 100% effective, and even if you are vaccinated, there is still a chance to catch the preventable diseases. We can move forward on to the next topic. Anti-vaxxers believe that since vaccine-preventable diseases have been eliminated in their country, vaccines are no longer necessary. In most countries, vaccine-preventable diseases have been pretty much eliminated, although that is not the case around the world. The World Health Organization says there are 2 reasons to vaccinate, even if the diseases are now uncommon in your area. The first reason is to protect yourself. There could easily be another outbreak due to someone traveling from a country where the disease is still common. Take measles, for example. The United States is currently experiencing a serious measles outbreak. ABC News reported on February 6, 2019, that patient 0 in measles outbreak is a foreigner, which is a common way outbreaks start. The measles is highly contagious. It can remain in the air up to 2 hours after an infected person leaves the room and can be spread 4 days before and 4 days after telltale symptoms like rash begin and end, according to the Washington Post on April 16, 2019. The second reason to vaccinate is to protect those around you. Many people cannot receive vaccinations for a couple of different reasons. One is due to medical reasons, such as those allergic to the ingredients in vaccines. The person is immunocompromised, or the vaccine just doesn't work on them. The second is due to age. Young children and infants cannot receive vaccines until they're certain ages. For example, my 8-month-old will have 0 protection from the measles until he is 12 months old and cannot receive the booster until he's 4 years old. These people rely on herd immunity to keep themselves protected from diseases. Dictionary.com defines herd immunity as the immunity or resistance to a particular infection that occurs in a group of people or animals when a very high percentage of individuals have been vaccinated or previously exposed to the infection. We lastly covered the importance of herd immunity and how easy it would be for preventable diseases to make an unwelcome comeback. In conclusion, it is still the year 2019. We are so advanced in so many fields, especially the medical field. Let us remember to trust science and use common sense when making decisions about protecting ourselves and those around us. We need to work together to stop these preventable diseases from returning. Today we have learned 5 of the anti-vaxxers' arguments and how they are wrong, and the dangers that not vaccinating imposes.